All right, let's talk about something pretty complex today. But, instead of digging through a dense technical manual, we're going to do it with a story. It's a simple tale, one that feels almost ancient, but it's going to help us unpack some very modern ideas, things like robotics and AI.
So, let's start with an invitation. Think of it this way. This isn't going to be about data points or complicated diagrams. Nope. This is about leaning in and listening to a story about a metal man. And what's cool is it might just feel a little familiar, even if it's the first time you're hearing it.
For as long as humans have been around, we've told stories to make sense of the world, right? And what's so brilliant about this particular story is how it helps us get a handle on that connection between a physical robot and, well, the artificial mind that pulls the strings.
Every good creation story has a starting point, and for our metal man, it all begins with the body. Just a form, without a mind, like a vessel, just waiting for that spark. So just imagine this for a second. A perfect physical form, engineered with limbs and joints, but it's completely lifeless. It has all the parts, all the potential for movement, but without something telling it what to do, it's basically just a statue. It has eyes, but it can't see a thing.
And that brings us to a really crucial point. The robot, the physical hardware, is at its core just a tool. The story puts it perfectly. It's like a hoe on a farm. Super useful, yeah, but it can't do a thing by itself. It's just waiting. Waiting for someone or something to tell it what to do. Okay, so we've got the body of iron, check. What's next? Well, it needs a mind, right? And this next part of the story, the birth of this artificial brain, this is where things get really interesting. This is where the magic and, yeah, the complexity kicks in. I mean, that line just says it all, doesn't it? We're talking about a mind that's not born from biology, but from pure logic and data. A brain literally made of numbers, and because of that, it can do things our brains just can't. So here's how our story defines artificial intelligence. And what's so powerful here is how simple it is. It zeroes in on two key things: a perfect, nonstop memory and the ability to learn. So when it falls, it doesn't just get up, it learns why it fell. And the next time, it's a little bit better. So this really lays it all out, doesn't it? The two halves of the whole. You've got the robot body over here, all potential, zero action. And then you've got the artificial brain, all knowledge, with no way to do anything in the real world. They're totally separate and honestly, completely useless without each other. All right, so the big question is, how do we bring these two pieces together? How does this brain of numbers actually learn to control the body of iron? Well, our story gives us this really beautiful metaphor for it: learning how to dance. And this is it's perfect because it gets to the very core of how so much modern AI actually learns. It's not about being born with some kind of understanding. No, it's all about watching and copying. The AI looks at us, the elders in the story, and it just tries to imitate our movements, our patterns, everything. So check out this process. Step 1, we show it a bunch of dances. Then comes the trial and error part, right? It shakes all wrong, it bends badly. But step 4, this is the game changer. It keeps learning. That brain of numbers figures it out mistake by mistake. And eventually, it dances perfectly. But then you get to step 5, and this is so important. It dances well, but it understands absolutely nothing. And right here, this is really the soul of the entire story. The metal man remembers the movements, so it can perform the dance flawlessly. But it doesn't feel the music. It has no heart. It feels no joy, no anger. It feels nothing. It's a perfect copycat, but it has no idea why it's dancing. Okay, so we've looked at the body, we've looked at the brain, and we've seen how it learns to dance. Now the story brings it all home with its final, simple, but really powerful lesson: the unforgettable truth. First up, the simple part. The robot is the body. Next, you have the mind. Artificial intelligence, that's the brain. And then, the final and maybe the most important piece of this whole thing: humans. We are the teachers. And that leads us to the final wisdom from the story. This whole incredible creation, this thinking metal man, it's completely dependent on us. It only knows what we've shown it. Without us, the teachers, it's just an empty shell with an empty mind. So, that really leaves us with a huge question, doesn't it? The story isn't just a cool way to understand how the tech works. It's about our part in all of this. If we are the teachers, if these incredibly powerful tools are learning by watching us, what exactly are we teaching them?